Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Who is out there finding unbelievable deals, unbelievable opportunities? We want to hear from you here in the chat. My name is Brent Daniels. Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 231 with Pace Morby and Jerry Norton. We're coming to you live to answer all of your questions about real estate investing, wholesaling, what's going on out there with realtors, all the changes going on with their commissions as of what, Jerry, today, tomorrow?
I think tomorrow is when the, nationwide, some places have already adopted the new rules, but I think it's officially tomorrow's the drop dead date.
So what happens tomorrow, Jerry?
Well, starting tomorrow, the way that buyer's agents will operate is completely different than the old model. No longer is their commission predetermined and set prior to a buyer engaging with a buyer's agent. No longer can a seller or seller's agent advertise a buyer's agent commission on the MLS. So that's removed completely. And a buyer's agent has to enter into a buyer's agency agreement prior to, I guess, showing properties or engaging in a relationship. They have to create a broker-buyer relationship.
I actually think that's a really good thing for the buyer's agents, don't you think? Like, it's going to force these buyers from wasting all these buyer's agents' time, taking them on appointments. And then I remember one day, my wife had been working with this couple that was they went to our ward. Mormons, we call it a ward. And my wife met these people at our church. And after literally 2 years of showing these people houses, and they were just changing their mind, doing all this stuff. My wife and I go to Disneyland. We're in line at Disneyland, and my wife opens up Facebook, and it's a picture of this family saying, "Here's our new house. Thank you to this agent at the welcome center at the new home community that helped us buy this house." The agent, the clients, the buyers, they have no freaking clue that they just screwed my wife. I don't know where buyers think agents get paid. I think that this will actually help buyers agents out. Don't you think?
I mean, buyers agents should have been figuring that out ahead of time. The problem here is, up until now, a buyer's agent, they didn't really have to sell themselves, right? They didn't have to do a sales presentation. They didn't have to show their value. They didn't have to earn their commission. You literally just showed up as a buyer's agent and you're getting 3%, whether you did a good job or not. It didn't have to be negotiated. Now, all of that has to be figured out up front before you even look at houses. So it's going to force buyer's agents to learn marketing and sales and all the things. What's interesting about this, though, is it doesn't mean that the seller can't still pay the buyer's agent commission.
Right.
And I think we're going to see that happen quite a bit like it used to. That I think that'll still be pretty normal. But what it does mean is it means you have to figure that out up front. And if a seller is unwilling to, if they don't want to pay the buyer's agent commission, that buyer's agent or that buyer and the buyer's agent have to figure that out. Right? Like, they're gonna have to figure out how to get paid if that's not the case.
Yeah. How do you think it's going to affect the cash buyers that we sell our deals to? Guys?
Well, this is the exciting part that's worth talking about, because like, I'm a big fan of double dipping. So I'll go to that listing agent and I'll say, "Hey, I'm unrepresented. I'll let you represent me in the transaction." Well, before that was the end of it. Like that was all we had to say. And then we knew that 3% that was available for the buyer's agent that was already predetermined would just go straight to that listing agent. So it was sort of this, once we agree on that double dip, they call it dual agency. Once that's been agreed upon, then, it was pretty simple. We move forward. That agent would get 6% or whatever the total commission was. And that was the end of it. Well, now we get to have a totally different conversation. We get to say, hey, I'm unrepresented. What do you want to do? How do you want to work this out? What's your number? What's your fee? I'd like you to represent me in the transaction. I still believe in that model, because what you're doing is you're creating a competitive advantage by offering that listing agent to also be a buyer's agent. Now, this is where it's allowed, right? And so now it's going to be interesting because we can offer any fee we want. We could eliminate that commission, and then the seller doesn't have to pay as much, which affects price. We could offer to pay whatever. We could say, hey, here's my price, get the deal done, and I'll pay a $10,000 commission as my buyer's agent. Like, we can do whatever we want now. So for me, I'm kind of excited about it because it actually opens up the door to even more opportunity and more possibility.
What about from the buyer side, Jerry? Like, we're selling our deals to a lot of people that are doing renovations, a lot of fix and flippers. Do you think that there's any concern, any excitement over these changes? You know what I mean? Like, are they like, well, now I gotta really be loud about what I'm offering as a commission to sell my properties fast so I can turn my money over? Or is it like, hey, maybe some buyers are just going to hit me up and I don't have to factor that 2.5%, 3% into my final numbers when I'm looking at this?
For me, like on my flips, I'm still going to go into the deal and I'm still going to budget, a 6% commission, or I'm still going to budget, let's say, a 3% commission to a buyer's agent, because I'm going to anticipate that most buyers that are going to come forward, they're going to be asking for that commission to be paid by the seller.
Right.
So I would say if you're an investor and you're on the sales side, then I would still factor on paying like a normal buyer's agent commission. And then maybe you're pleasantly surprised. Maybe the buyer comes forward and says, we're taking care of the commission on my end, or, hey, I'm happy to make 1%, 2%, who knows? But I think for a little while, at least for me, on my flips, I'm going to still budget paying 3% to a buyer's agent. And I'm going to anticipate that they're going to ask for me to pay that out of the seller side. Right.
The only thought I have
still
there,
do that. You just can't advertise it and it's not predetermined.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm thinking about that is kind of a big question mark for me is, okay, how many of these buyers are going to see it on Zillow, reach out to my listing agent and just try to buy this without an agent? And then we have to then be the one that's flipping the house, doing the disclosures, but also the agent is now going to represent the buyer as well. And I don't like that. I never
my
listing agent.
So NAR's big argument was this is going to hurt the consumer because now buyers are going to come with little to no or poor representation. Because now buyers are going to be like, well, why would I pay 3%? Or I don't want to pay 3%. And can I just get a template? And what do I need an agent for to help me? And so I think we're going to what I think we're going to see is we're going to see the market actually realize that paying 3% to a buyer's agent is pretty ridiculous because that's a lot of money. If you think about how much money that is on anything $500,000 or higher, that's a lot of money for something that isn't really that complicated. Once you know how to transact, it's not overly complicated. And so I think we're going to start to see some boiler template, like we're going to see some flat fee type of buyer's agency, and we're going to see some discounted buyer's agents. Like all of that's going to come out now.
There's AI. AI buyer's agents.
Well, think about it. How is it not possible that you schedule a showing, you go to the property by yourself, no agent, right? You do some kind of ID, you get in the property, there's some interactive thing that's telling you all about the property. You want it. There's AI that's creating a contract for you. It's opening escrow with title. Like, we're seeing all of this happen in every other industry and every other business. Why would that not also be happening in real estate? So I think in time we'll see that a lot.
Yeah, I just wonder how it's going to be for flippers that, you got a handhold or deals fall in, fall out. They're going with a different lender that doesn't have their act together, and then all of a sudden the appraisals come in real goofy. You know what I mean? And you're trying to work with the appraisal and show them the comps and show them the improvements and show them that you paid an assignment fee, but these are like your real low cost lenders that the buyer went out and found. You know what I mean? Like a buyer's agent powerful if they're connecting you with a great lender that's going to solve a lot of the issues that pop up in a transaction. They're going to be really good at negotiating for you. They're going to be really good at communicating with the listing agent. I don't know, man. I feel like this is going to be a mess. And I feel like the flippers, and I haven't had enough conversations. I need to have some conversations with, some of the bigger Nate Randleman's here, Pace, and some of these other guys that are flipping a lot, the Zach Keeps and all these guys that are flipping a bunch, and just see what their expectation is on this. If they're slowing down to see how the market reacts, or if they're all, business as usual. It's going to be real interesting.
Yeah,
I
remember
agree.
the flat fee listings that would come out a long time ago? Where did those things go?
Gone.
There's still some people who do it, but I remember there was like 4 or 5 companies came out. They were billboarding everywhere, marketing, hey, flat fee listing, flat fee, blah, blah, blah.
Assist to sell, need to sell,
brokerless.com. They're still pretty popular. I mean, we use them sometimes. It's like $150. You get 20 pictures. I mean, you're getting no service.
This is on the listing side, right? So like the listing side that blew up real quick, and then it kind of fizzled down. It settled in. And I think that there is some very specific use cases where somebody like a Jerry, a Brent, a Pace, right? A lot of the people in our audience, a Carly Grunman, you could very easily handle your own listing. But for the average consumer selling their house, they cannot do a flat listing. So they're going to find out the same exact thing on the buyer side. I bet you there's going to be buyer's agents that come out and be like, I'll do a flat fee buyer's agent thing. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some sort of invention in the marketplace. But again, I think it's going to go back to the way it was. Buyer's agents do all the work compared to the listing agent. They do all the bull crap. They do the TC stuff, the therapy. They're doing all the stuff. And I don't think it's going to go back to 3%, but I think the industry is going to normalize after a year or 2 years and go, we need buyer's agents. We just don't want to pay them a full 3%.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see some like a la carte, like I'll show you 5 properties for X price, or, every showing is like this much, because, some people you got to show them 20 properties, and some people you show them 1, so I don't know. I think we'll start to see some real creativity from buyer's agents now that they have to show their value and justify their fee. So it will be interesting to see how this all shakes down. I mean, a lot of people are saying that nothing's going to change. The only thing that's going to be different is it's no longer advertised, but sellers, the presentation that listing agents are going to have with sellers is going to be very similar, which is you better budget 3% to a buyer's agent. Otherwise we're not going to attract the right type of buyer. Right. Yeah. And so, who knows? It's kind of interesting to see it. To me, though, it's kind of cool because it's disrupting, and that's when all the great ideas come out. That's when the new software and all the new things emerge, when you open things up for competition, right?
Yeah, I thought for sure this would be like, there'd be a stop in the momentum of new people getting into the business of getting their license and doing all this. And then I talked to the trainers at the gym, and they're like all getting their real estate license. They're all excited, but they're like, oh, you're in real estate. That's incredible. Like, so many people are getting into that right now. And I was like, really?
Well, here's what I do think will happen. I think we're going to see there's been a real separation between the real estate agent on this hand and the real estate investor on this hand. And I think we're going to see those two merge quite a bit more together. I think you're going to see real estate agents who realize that they can't survive alone just on being an agent, and they're going to start to move into the investing side, and which the most closely related to agents is wholesaling. So I think we're going to see a lot of transition there, and vice versa. I mean, we've been for years on the wholesaling side also listing properties. Now we're primarily, primary focus is wholesaling, but if they want retail and it's a last ditch effort, we'll list their properties. All my markets, we have a license and we'll list properties. Why not for 3% if that's what they really want and that's the best solution for them? So we've already been kind of playing on that side of the fence on the investing. And I think we're going to see agents also doing the same thing. They're going to be able to sit down and wear both hats. Now, the thing is, though, is you can only wear one hat. Like you either represent the seller or you represent yourself, and you can't be both in the same transaction. So you got to like decide which one you are and stick to it. Yeah. But I think we're going to start to see a lot of that combination of the two.
Well, I'll tell you what, on a weekly basis with the inbound, because I've really transitioned my business from outbound leads to inbound leads through pay-per-click and through TV. That's just starting this week as TV's starting up.
That's exciting.
The amount of retail, bro. The amount of listing appointments we set for our listing team is between 5 and 10 listings every single week with about a 30%, 20 to 30% close ratio. But I'm telling you, if you are serious about being a real estate agent and you're not connecting with the top wholesalers in your marketplace, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. Even though we get 50%, it's a 50-50 split. We're just like literally lining up in the calendar listing appointments. And if you know anything about real estate, getting listing appointments are gold. I mean, that's the toughest part of the job.
Yeah. And it's the easiest work because you get the pictures, you get the description, you schedule the showings. And it's like Pace said earlier, by far 100 times easier to be a listing agent than a buyer's agent. Right. So when you land those listing agreements, that's gold. And I would say too, Brent, like for us, we have at any given time, $50,000 to $100,000 in our pipeline and just straight up listing commissions for properties that we initially intended to, they were distressed lists. It was a distressed seller, or so we thought. And then come to find out they want retail and we listed for them. Now, one thing that like Brent said, what he's doing is he's 50-50. So you're passing those off to a listing agent, right? And you're getting a referral fee. You can only get referral fees if you have a real estate license.
Right.
You got to understand that. So if you don't have that, then you can't receive those referral fees.
Yeah, that's right. And my goal, Jerry, is to have my entire marketing budget covered by the retail commissions. Perfect. I get to that spot. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's
because now it's all referral income, and now all your marketing and overhead is now covered from those commissions, from those referrals. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so I think everybody should think about that. I know traditionally it's like you don't need a license, and it's true, you don't need a license to be an investor. But I think like if you look at the pros and cons, okay, you have to disclose. That's the big thing. You always have to disclose that you have a real estate license. I build right into my contracts with sellers that we have a real estate license, but we're not representing you as an agent. We're representing ourselves as investors. So we're really clear about the disclosure there. And as long as you're doing those things and you're staying really, really clear with the sellers that on where you sit in the transaction, then you're okay, right? It's where you get in trouble is if there's any gray area. And what would happen is if someone reported you back to the real estate commission and they had all thought you were misrepresenting yourself, then that's where you get in trouble when you have a license.
And Jerry, do you have a license?
Yeah.
Pace, you don't, right?
I never will.
Right. I think it's interesting. I think that, when I see somebody that is in our business that has a license, they feel stickier. They feel like they're going to be in the business longer and do the work and really commit to it. It's like this old, and I don't know if Jerry knows him, but Pace, Dustin Monger. Dustin Monger always had this thing where he was like, I won't date anybody that doesn't have a degree. And he goes, I don't care about the intelligence side of it. It's the it's finishing something, committing to something and getting it done is something that I think is a high character trait. And so I always think about that now. I always think about that. I mean, I didn't follow that by any means, but I kind of feel that way sometimes when I'm speaking with people that are just starting out in their wholesaling journey. That already have a license. I know that they're going to take to it a lot more seriously in my experience.
I agree. I agree with that entirely. For the people out there like, wait, Pace doesn't want to have a license. I have access to a license.
Yeah. You have people on your team with a license. license.
Yeah, Molly has a license.
Yeah.
My wife has a license. Cody Barton has a license. Josiah has a license. Like everybody around me has a license. And my
That's all I
primary,
meant. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all that. Yeah. Yeah. Like in other states, my somebody on the team has a license. I don't have a license in every state, you know. So that's all. Yeah. If you have that license, you can just take advantage of that additional revenue.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Brent. You know, I was a licensed contractor for 10 years. And so I think that somebody that's willing to go through that process is going to be a lot stickier for sure. Shout out to Chris Jean-Baptiste out of Brooklyn. Love you, brother. Appreciate you so much. And also shout out to the 350 people that are on here today. Thank you guys for coming in and hang out on Wholesale Hotline. Just so you guys know, when you guys are watching and you see maybe 75 people over on Jamil Damji's YouTube channel and then 160 on my YouTube channel, we're kind of spread out to a couple of different channels. So just want to let you guys know it's not a bad idea to bounce back and forth between a couple of channels to network in the side chat. We are live, my friends. Today is August 12th, 2024. This is the live show. Okay. We've got some good questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need a real estate license to wholesale?
By the way, Jerry, we have your report down here in the files here. If you want to pull it up, you can just add that, and that'll let everybody know where you do need a license, depending on the state. But yeah, most states.
Yeah, I mean, this is constantly changing and evolving because more regulation keeps coming out. So you do want to stay current on what's going on here, but several states require a license to wholesale, and even then you have to kind of understand what they're saying, because some of it is a license to wholesale in and of itself. And then other states have laws where it's just about how you market your contract for sale that requires a license, which is a little bit more lenient than, you know, any type of wholesaling requires a license. So, you know, you definitely want to make sure you understand what state you're transacting in and what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do.
Okay. Ephraim says, Efrain Peña, how do I talk to get this leads? Don't mind splitting the commission. You know, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm going to assume you're asking, how do I get leads? There's so many trainings on how to get leads. And I think this is such a beautiful question. It should be one of the first questions you ask, and also one of the first questions you answer. Because every other question you start asking about your business without leads is just a curiosity. It's not something that's going to solve a problem. We get paid by solving problems, my friends. If you don't have leads, that's the only problem you have.
Yeah.
And you got to go fix that problem. So go ask that question. Go to Jerry, type in this on YouTube, Jerry Norton leads. I guarantee you that freaking guy has made a YouTube video on how to generate some freaking leads. Okay.
Well, and I think it's important to understand what a lead is, right? What is the definition of a lead? A lead is not just somebody that's like, yeah, how much will you give me? A lead's not somebody that you had a good conversation with and they might sell at some point. A lead is somebody that has made the decision they're going to sign the documents required to transfer title to somebody else, or control to somebody else, however you want to put it. But it's somebody that's made the decision they don't want this property anymore. They don't want the responsibility of this property anymore. That's what a lead is. And if you're wholesaling, it's somebody that wants to transfer title to somebody else. And that's what's really important. That's something that we have to fundamentally understand and pull out of those property owners to make sure that we're not wasting our time just spinning our wheels with people that'll never sell their property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Lead generation is the lifeblood of your business. If you're not generating leads on a daily basis, you have no pipeline, you have no business. It really starts there. Like that's your one and only problem for most people is leads. How do I get quality leads?
Yeah, and there's 3 ways to get leads. You buy them, you earn them, or you wait for them. Right? You buy them through marketing, you earn them through prospecting, and you earn them and you wait for them from referrals. I mean, that's your 3 main sources that you're going to use to generate leads. And most of us have to start out by being wildly proactive, going out and initiating those conversations ourselves because we don't have a huge budget to have people call you. I will tell you this. It is between $4,000 and $6,000 here in Phoenix, Arizona to get a deal closed if you're marketing. 4,000 to 6,000. It could be much more than that, but depending on your processes. But if you don't have $4,000 to $6,000 in a major market, would you agree, guys? For a wholesale $20,000 to $25,000 deal, would you say about 4 to 6?
Direct to seller, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Jamil told me it's even higher. It's up over 10,000 in some markets, your hot markets.
Oh yeah, anywhere in Seattle or Chicago or Miami or
Vegas,
Southern
Phoenix.
California. Yeah, for sure.
Wolford 1 says, hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, guys, we got about 400 people watching between a couple of different YouTube video channels. Give us a little bit of love. Share this with your mom. Tell her what's up. Tell her I said hi. Also, check out the turkey cam. We got the turkey cam going today. Check it out. We don't have any turkeys out there in the property today, but one turkey was out in the property yesterday. I was hanging out with Jerry, and he smoked me at pickleball.
I don't know. You're getting that Morby method down pretty good.
Yeah, the lob method is pretty good.
We came up with a new Morby method in pickleball. It's not a real estate thing; it's a pickleball thing.
It's so good. Just boom, hit it so high they have to break their neck to look up at the ball. Cleo has asked the same question multiple times. He says, "Hey, do you have any advice? Private money is the holy grail to real estate masterclass. I have a deal that I need this for." Okay, is that something of yours, Jerry?
Well, you and I did a private money masterclass. I wonder if that's what they're talking about.
How about this, guys? I will give you a list of private money lenders right now. It has about $15 million on it. I think it's called Pace's Private Money Lenders. And these are people I've done deals with. Dang it. I don't know the website. I got to pull it up. I think Pace's, that's it. Pace's privatemoneylenders.com. Is that it? Yes. That is exactly it. Pace's privatemoneylenders.com. This has $15 million of private money lenders on it. Let me show you this list because I want you to see that this is no BS. This is absolutely super gangster. I think this one has 13 million on it. So let's check it out. And I want you to know that you don't need to go and find private money lenders. Just download the list. It's a Google sheet. These are real people, real emails, real phone numbers, and real dollars that they have access to. The total dollar amount, $13,448,500 is what is available on this list. So if you have another question about, Pace, where do I find private money? You'll notice that this is titled PML List Number 4, June of 2024. I just created this list. It is free to you, so you stop asking the question of where do private money lenders come from. Here's where they come from. Uncle Pace. Don't go to somebody that's charging you $35,000 to learn how to raise private capital. Me, Jerry, Brent, Jamil, we got free resources for you, helping you out. No more questions about where do private money lenders come from. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Here's a good question. Waring F. So when you're selling your LLC on a wholesale deal, this is a Jerry question maybe. Do you need an LLC bank account EIN for it, or do you just transfer the LLC to the end buyer?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, you do not need an EIN. EIN is your federal ID number because you're not filing a tax return. You're not doing anything. You're selling the LLC. Now, once you sell it to your buyer, they can do what they want. They could keep that LLC active. They could close it down. They could transfer the property into their other company. Whatever they do is on them. All you need to do is form the LLC. You're going to create now a membership interest in that LLC. And by the way, I give away all this for free. Like I had a lawyer create all of these docs, and you guys can get that for free. Just go to llcflipperkit.com and you can get all the documents you need to sell an LLC, because you're going to remember, it's not real estate now, it's a business. You're selling a business, not real estate. So it's treated a little differently than a real estate transaction.
Why would you sell an LLC?
Well, it's a workaround to not doing a double closing when you have a no assignment. So think about this, guys. Like, let's take a bank property. All bank properties have no assignment clauses. Some probate properties have no assignments. Sometimes a private seller will just want a no assignment. Some states have a no assignment baked right into their, state contracts. So, and we're going to see more and more of this come up where you're going to have to deal with not being able to assign your contract. So you could double close, but then you're paying fees twice and paying for transactional funding. So a workaround is you set up an LLC, you contract the property in the name of that LLC, and then rather than assigning your contract, you're selling the membership rights of the LLC to your buyer. So at closing, the buyer didn't change. It's still 123 Main Street LLC. The members of the LLC changed from you to your cash buyer, right? So it's a really cool technique to learn. It's not super clean because you could encumber an LLC. Like I could set up an LLC, go get $100,000 in business line of credit on it, and then sell it to Brent, and Brent just inherited a liability, right? So you got to be careful if you're buying an LLC. Like I would do a UCC filing against the LLC, make sure it's not holding any debt, right? Because you would be inheriting that. So and it's done outside of closing. So that's another thing that's a little tricky sometimes, but it's a workaround.
We at Creative Title and Escrow, in about 3 months, we will help you sell your LLCs to an end buyer. That we will allow that to go through our escrow company. Just so you know, Creative Title and Escrow. The name of the website is getcreativetitle.com. Also, Stacy, kind of tying into Jerry's answer here. I need to get an LLC within a trust. I got a quote from $4,000 from Anderson Business Advisors. Guys, I would not use Anderson Business Advisors. You can quote me by saying that. Toby is one of my friends. Those guys that own that company are my friends, but their company is months and months of waiting, and they're 3 times more expensive than they should be, especially for starting out real estate investors. I use a company called Prime. Their website is startwithprime.com. I set up my LLCs there. I set up my trusts. Steve Harwood is a really good friend of all of ours. He was just up here in Montana with me and Jerry on Jerry's Lake. Startwithprime.com is where we get all the LLCs done, the trust done. They're about a third the price of Anderson Business Advisors. Man, Anderson Business Advisors just got too big too fast, and I just don't think they can keep up with all their demand. And that's been like 3 or 4 years of that. So love those guys. They're great human beings, but their business has a little bit of to fix on the customer service side and on the pricing. Okay.
They also Pace, what's great about Prime is they pretty much just specialize in real estate investors. So they know what we do inside and out. So that's another great benefit to them.
I love that. Okay. So here's another question. Robert Gardner says, Pace, you need to access request to switch to an account to access. Robert, watch what I do, Robert. This is all you're going to do. You're going to go to Pace's privatemoneylenders.com. It goes here. You're going to type in your name and your email, and I will email you the list. You will get that list. I promise you it's a real list. You will be just fine. Okay. How do you go about selling my home through Creative Finance? Me and my wife are downsizing. Al, this is what you do. Let me show you something. You got a house to sell on Seller Finance. You come to your boy right here via email. Sorry, I know it's naked right now, but let me fix it. My email is pacejmorby@me.com. Email me details. I will help you out. Maybe I'll buy it. I don't know. But if you have a deal to sell, bring it to me, pacejmorby@me.com. Also, I just want to point something out for those of you guys that don't know. I will help you find a house to live in for you and your family. I got this really freaking cool program that we've just built called pacehelpsamerica.com. You can go to pacehelpsamerica.com if you're watching this in the future. But right now, let me just show you what it looks like. These are all my buyers right now that want to buy they're end buyers. They want to move their family into a home. And I am helping them find houses on Creative Finance. So if you have a house you want to sell, I'm your guy. If you have a house you want to buy, I can help you find one. So come on over to that website, pacehelpsamerica.com. But the answer to your question, my friend, is just email me. I'll help you out, dog. Thank you so much. Let's see. Can you explain how to use PML? I have a deal for a sub-2 home for $25,000 down. Let me show you one more thing. Brent and Jamil or Brent and Jerry are like, oh my gosh, this Pace guy is such a pain in the ass. He's just constantly sharing his screen all the time. Well, they're not wrong. Let's just be honest. My friends are not wrong. I can be a pain in the butt a couple of times a day. So hold on a second. Let's check this out. One of my favorite things to do is I go over here to YouTube and I type in Jerry, Norton, Pace, Morby, private money. And Jerry and I did this amazing private money masterclass. And one of the first videos is how to start raising money, lessons learned borrowing private money, hard money versus private money. Private money is the holy grail. Oh, there you go. Private money. They were talking about our thing, Jerry. And it says how to structure private money loans. This masterclass, which I will give you the link to, my friend. I will give you this link right here. See, I'm copying it. Then I'm going to put it in the side chat just for you guys. This will answer your question of how do you use private money? What do you use private money for? How to talk to the private money lenders. And homeboy, I'm telling you, there's a friend of mine. He's a friend and I like him. He charges 35 grand and guarantees you after a year of his program that you will have 25 private money lenders in your database. 35 grand, 25 private money lenders. I just gave you like 65 of them for free 99. And Jerry and I made a killer YouTube series all about private money lending. And I put the link in the side chat. So just thank P-Dog and J-Dog. We got your back. Okay. Dang it. Sorry. Another Pace question. Pace, has your zero cash flow deals after party rolled out yet? I guess that is helping others. Yes, it has rolled out yet. As of tomorrow morning, we are fully ready to go. Pace, I want to be a PML. How to proceed? Check this out. Email pacejmorby@me.com. I gotcha. Dang, man. Today's just screen sharing time, huh?
I like screen sharing.
Rolling.
It changes it up a little bit, but we got some questions here. Hey, Jerry, you got an answer for this one?
Where is the best source to find out new state laws regarding wholesaling? Yeah, so if you go to wholesaleregulations.com, then you can get the latest update on state laws. And I just updated it. I added a couple other states there. Yeah, scroll down. I think we added North Dakota is one I added. They've been Alabama passed a law. Yeah, so they're all in there. And what I do is I break it down. I kind of go through the whole law and I give you just what you need to know about what the law is and when it goes into effect and what you have to do to be compliant.
What do you think, Jerry? Do you think that we're just on the road to no assignments, or are we on the road to you got to get a license to assign?
I think get a license is just step one, but I think the end game is they want to stop it altogether. So
why?
Because they don't want us transacting on properties we don't yet own. So that would be an assignment. That would be a double close, because even a double close, like everybody thinks double close solves the problem. It does temporarily, but they're going to close that loophole as well, because the problem is when you do your AB transaction, you can tell the seller, hey, I'm the buyer. But then when you do your BC contract with your cash buyer, you're typically doing that prior to closing on the property. So you're telling a buyer that you can convey title, in essence, on something you don't yet own, or you're marketing something you don't yet own on your BC side. Because the goal is with a double closing is you've got your buyer ready to go and you do the closings back to back. So if the problem is they don't like us transacting on properties we don't yet own and contracting properties we don't yet own, that would eliminate a double close, and a novation fits in there as well. So I think my perception of what's going on, and I watch all these laws very closely, so I'm seeing the trend here, is that, and I think in 5 to 7 years, not only will licensing is one thing to bring it underneath the real estate commission jurisdiction. Yeah. But I think they're going to keep going, and they're going to try to do like what South Carolina is doing and just say, no, you can't do it. We don't want you doing it at all.
Does that open the door to them shutting the door to other creative options, Pace?
I can't.
You know what I mean? They go after wholesalers and then they go after subto, or they go after doing land contracts, or they go after wraps, or they go after all these other things, right? They go after controlling a property but not owning a property.
Well, have you heard what they're doing in California?
They'd have to get rid of lease options. They'd have to get rid of, like, I could convert every a acquisition through a lease option and sell everything through a lease option if I really wanted to. Bro, the amount of time and energy that would take for them to do that, I don't know. First step, they would have to understand it. Right? Like wholesale is simple enough for them to attack.
They don't even understand wholesaling. They don't even understand wholesaling. And that's the easiest thing ever to understand.
Yeah, I don't think creative finance can be even remotely touched. I don't think they're smart enough to even know these transactions exist. Like, I can't even tell you how many times we talk to an escrow officer and they're like, "A what? How? Wait, you're doing what? Wait, I don't understand." Right? I don't think so.
Pace, have you heard what Colorado just passed?
No, what?
They passed a law, went into effect June, I think. But in Colorado with multifamily, the state of Colorado has first right of refusal to buy a multifamily property from the private sector.
Guys, this is what happens when you let Democrats move into your state, okay? They turn your whole entire state over to a complete totalitarianism. We have first right of refusal to buy your property. You cannot even choose.
The government
you cannot even choose who you sell your property to and how.
The government is now in real estate in Colorado.
Who sets the price?
I mean, if the seller says I'm selling, somebody contracts it, they can come in and say, we'll take it for that price.
Got it. Wow. So that's crazy. Well,
I think it's.
I'm voting for Biden. I'm voting for Biden. I'm all in.
Did you hear what California passed? So California passed a law for flippers, and this is statewide in California. If you're a flipper, as the flipper, you have to now hire licensed and registered contractors on your entire renovation, and you have to provide who they are and what they did, and fully disclose what your rehab was. And then buyers have recourse if something was done wrong or incorrect.
Wait. What? This is where?
California.
Guys, half of your contractors are illegal immigrants who are 10 times better than the licensed contractor, white dudes that can't do the job and charge 4 times too much money.
Yeah, think about it. You're doing carpet or gutters or paint, licensed and registered contractors. And now you hold liability because buyers have recourse. So now you got to be really careful. So you're taking on all this additional liability. I mean, I'm all for hiring good contractors, but it's just the state is now coming into real estate investing. Like they're getting their hands in it. They're getting their fingers in it.
My gosh, man. This is why less government, you know what I'm saying? Like if I was forced to hire a licensed contractor here in Montana to do my concrete, out for the pickleball court, the driveway, the barn, all that kind of stuff. One, the job still would not be done. And I would have paid twice as much money and it would have gotten done with half as much quality if I hired a licensed dude.
Yeah. Well, think about this.
It would have given me attitude the whole time. The Hispanic guys that I get come in, they're not even from Montana. They drove in from Seattle, non-licensed, and got it done for 1/4 the price, twice as fast, and thanked me for the work. The other guys are like, you'll be lucky if I can get to this in 2 months. Guys, you vote with your feet, my friends. And you Californians that are sticking around in California, you're voting by staying in that awful state. Gosh dang, that sucks.
Well, think about this. Your rehab budgets are going to double now, which means who are you ultimately affecting? You're just hurting the seller. It's like every single time you hurt the seller.
Yep.
Yeah, because we got to dig into the seller's pocket on a cash transaction to justify the purchase. If I've got a contractor who's going to charge me $60,000 for a $30,000 job.
Yeah. Well, just like minimum wage, it doesn't hurt. It hurts the low income is who it hurts the most. Buyers
determine value. And if it costs you more to get your money out, the value is going to go down in those properties. They're going to lose. The sellers are going to lose more. But I just think it's the states that have a lot of people. They have beautiful, beautiful cities, beautiful, at least landscapes. And they don't care. There's going to still be people that are going to accept that and live there.
Yeah. Jem says, do you use licensed tax professionals, Pace? Yes, I do. Sadly, most licensed tax professionals are not that smart. I'll tell you right now, JEM or Jem, most of the CPAs that I've met over my last 15 years or so of being a business owner, don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. I teach most CPAs about cost segregations. And for example, this property that I bought, right, that I'm in right now, 210 Kaufman Lane in Montana. I bought it for $3.7 million, $1 down payment. When I did this, the seller CPA said, that's not legal. And I said, you are not correct. Can I have my CPA talk to you? And the CPA goes, I don't know what he's going to teach me. I've been in the business for 40 years. Okay, great. No problem. So my CPA talks to him, shows him all the legislation, shows him how to do these types of transactions. His CPA gets off the phone and says, how do I learn how to do this? So he goes from saying, I've been in the business for 40 years, this is not possible, to how do I do this too? Guys, most licensed tax professionals do the taxes for the majority of the United States, which are people that I wouldn't take financial advice from either. And so you have to find not just a licensed tax professional. You want to work with tax professionals that their average client makes a couple $1 million a year and has a net worth of what you want your net worth to be, because they will give you appropriate advice to the path that you are following. So don't go to H&R Block. Okay, those guys are broke and they have broke clients. Don't go to, like, you're just down the street, some like tax service. Go to a mastermind or go to a seminar and find the CPAs that are doing the tax advice or the tax work for professionals like myself. Okay. Sherry says, fantastic story, Pace. Okay, no problem. I would
add to that, Pace. You know, there's your run-of-the-mill CPA is just going to take a look at your books and say, here's how much you owe. You know, what you want is you want a tax advisor, someone that knows the ins and outs and is going to help you reduce your tax liability. That's a specialized tax professional that understands high income earners and what they need to do to minimize taxes.
Yeah. Juan Valencia says, is it a bad idea to focus on fix and flip real estate investing, work with wholesalers to buy properties, but not do any wholesaling myself? No, it's not a bad idea. I just want to point something out. This is my opinion about fixing and flipping. Jerry and Brent might have a completely different opinion. Fixing and flipping is not a full-fledged business. Even though you can make millions and millions of dollars doing it, fixing and flipping is a side hobby because it's challenging and it doesn't, oh man, it's not just challenging and I love it. It's super rewarding. I love fixing and flipping. It's probably one of the hardest parts of real estate to scale yourself out of. And so you're very capped in it, meaning how many projects you can do, how many states you can do, how many things you can take on. And so I do know a lot of people that fix and flip. I did it entirely. Like, it was my first couple of years in the business. It was probably 60% of what I did. I was fixing and flipping. I love it. I freaking love fixing and flipping, but it's not a full-fledged business. Wholesaling, you can scale. And buying and holding, you can scale. Fixing and flipping is very, very tied to renovations, quality of contractors, permits, delays, supply chain, etc. And also the market. In 2022, when the market changed, interest rates were really good. We were on projection to sell these 5 houses, and I was planning on making about $100,000 per house on these flips. And the market changes, interest rates go up, my buyers dry up, and I had to keep those properties in my portfolio. And so fixing and flipping is not always a guaranteed process. One thing that is always guaranteed, my friends, is a wholesale assignment contract. You get paid that day. You don't have to worry about it the next day. That's one thing that's beautiful. Second thing is my buy and hold portfolio will always go up over time, whereas a fix and flip is not 100% reliable. So what are your opinions, Jerry and Brent?
Yeah, I would add to that. That's all very correct, Pace. I would add to that. One of the challenges with fix and flip is your cash conversion cycle and just cash management. It's a very capital intense business model.
Yep.
Every fix and flipper I know, and I'm one of them, and I've been in this place. You're constantly broke because you can't ever have money sitting in your bank account that's going into another property, and the cash is just out. You got all this money out, and then a windfall when it finally sells. And managing that cycle is very challenging because there's a lot of unforeseens with flipping. So you never hit your budget, you never hit your timelines. And so just trying to manage all of that, you've got a lot of payments out, hard money, private money payments out. So it becomes for most people very, very challenging, not just on what Pace explained, where you know every property is different. There's no 2 properties the same. You run into all of these unknowns. So that's why you can't scale it very well. You also struggle quite a bit to manage all of that cash that's got to be in the deals. And that's what I see swallow up fix and flippers the most. It's not that they don't know how to rehab or they don't know how to buy right. It's that they run out of cash and the cash swallows them alive.
Yeah,
Risk.
that's a really good point.
Risk, right? I keep thinking about this because you talk about this so incredibly, Jerry, about the risk, right? The risk and reward and those big checks and really doing well. And you could take a lead that cost you, $4,000 to $6,000 and you can wholesale it and make 25, or you could flip it and make 50, 60, 70, 80. But there's risk. There's risk in your cash flow. There's risk in the market shifting. And I think that all of us up here can, and just like Pace was saying, all of us have gotten caught when the market has just on a dime just shifted within like a 30-day window. It could even be like a single day window. But when it shifts, that feeling that you feel is awful. It is the worst when you've got all of your pride in this thing and you've got money in this thing and you've got your family's money into these things or your own money into these things. And then all of a sudden it shifts and you have to work something out with the bank to either take it as a rental or take a loss or just break even on it when you were expecting those funds. Oh, it's like one of the most heartbreaking experiences you will ever feel. And I don't care how good you are. I don't care if it's your first deal or your 1,000th deal. It'll catch you at some point. You will always get caught at some point.
I would say if you want to flip though, keep it very light. Do cosmetic. Don't get yourself into any big projects. I kind of have a rule with like new flippers. If you can get in and out of that project in 2 or 3 weeks and under 5 contractors total, okay, maybe, and then the numbers better be really, really good. You better make 4 times as what you could wholesaling it. Otherwise, just wholesale it, because you can do 5 deals in the same time you do 1 fix and flip, because it's going to take a lot of your time, energy, and effort to manage that project.
Yeah, I would say never try and pay your today bills with fix and flip money, ever. Right? Here's what I would always. This is how I describe it. Wholesale is great for today money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fixing and flipping is good for tomorrow money. And buying and holding is good for forever money.
Yeah. Slow, medium, fast money. Yep.
Yeah. And so wholesale is like, I need to make money now. I hate my job. I want to supplement it. You can rely on here's what's great about wholesale. Generate leads, submit offers, find buyers, make money.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you think? What do you think that window, real quick? Because I'm just really curious about this. What do you think that window is when when it's hot? When it's like a seller's market, when everybody's just making a fortune, like how big of a window is that? You know what I mean? Like, is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 18 months? Is it, you know what I mean? Because people get in, they start building their whole business around these big flips and doing these things. And then all of a sudden the music stops. And some guys get out beforehand. Some guys realize,
we've seen market shifts in like a 6-month window, right? So you can get caught in a flip that's a 6-month flip and you get caught in it. But if you're staying under that, typically if you're staying under 6 months in a project, you should be okay. Meaning, you go into it, you think you understand the market. 6 months later, the market, might correct a little bit, but you should be okay. It's when you're in a 12-month or 18-month. That's why builders get stuck so bad, because they started that project. They don't finish it for 18 months. Market can completely shift in 18 months. So that you just got to be thinking about that. Like, think about, okay, well, where could we be in 4 months from now, 5 months, 6 months from now? Am I going to get caught? And Pace mentioned that. Like, I remember Pace, you and I in our private money, or not our private money, our creative finance series, we talked about, on one of them, we talked about, what do you do when you got to sell a property and you realize you're going to be selling at a loss? And I don't know if you remember this, Pace, but we talked about, don't sell it on a market, value, hold that property, maybe sell it on creative. And so we used the deal I had where I sold this house in Michigan that I would have taken like a $30,000 loss if I sold it. It was a flip, got caught on it when the market corrected. Instead, I sold it on land contract, and I sold it for way more than market value, because it was, I carried the note for the buyer. And then he just cashed me out, like a month or 2 ago. And it worked out great. Like, I actually made money because I stayed in the deal. He started making me, an interest payment. So it covered my debt on it, or my cash on it. And so, those things are going to happen if you're into flipping. You might get stuck in a project So you got to be thinking about that all the time. How do I make sure I'm not in these projects too long if a market correction happens?
Yeah. You're fixing and flipping as a side hustle. I tell people that all the time. I was watching Ryan Pineda, a good friend of mine. So this is not going to come across negative. I love Ryan. I think everybody here loves Ryan. We support Ryan. He's a great guy, nice guy. But I watched how he was saying, yeah, we have 65 flips going on right now. I was like, you are waiting for a tidal wave to happen. And guess what he's saying right now?
He only wholesales.
I only wholesale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, look, again, I'm not criticizing him. I'm just letting you know, like, that's the experience of the people that are talking about it. And you make money in wholesale. You make money in fixing and flipping until you don't.
Yeah.
And wholesaling is not like that. Again, wholesaling is very simple. I don't have to have a license in most states. Somebody actually asked a really great question. I think deserves an answer. I think, first off, here's a really simple question. Pace, do you need an LLC to start wholesaling? No. Should you have an LLC to start wholesaling? Yes. Why do I believe that? To draw a really quick, stupid analogy is, do I need a wedding ring to get married to my wife? No, but it shows my commitment. And when I'm doing an LLC, it shows my commitment to the universe, and it shows a commitment to myself that I have an actual business. And by the way, when I call a real estate agent and the agent says, yeah, no problem, submit that offer. What's the name of your company? Oh, I don't have an LLC yet because I was too damn cheap. I just, everything in my life is, how do I do it for free, not invest in myself? I want everything for free. I'm not committed. In fact, that might be the name of your first LLC, is I wasn't committed LLC, therefore it took me too long, right? Get committed. Are you in it or are you not? And if you're not, you're going to be one of those people asking the question, like, do I need an LLC? I don't know. Do you need a bank account to receive money? I guess not. Technically, you could receive a check and go down to the check cashing place and they'll give you your money minus 8%. You don't need one, but by golly, it makes you look professional when you have a conversation with a private money lender, another wholesaler you want to JV with, or an agent you're doing a contract with, a title company, and also the seller. What's the name of your company? Oh, I don't have an LLC. It's just Pace.
And you get to take advantage of all of the benefits of having an entity, right? You get all the write-offs that come with that.
The answer is yes.
Like, you don't need one, but why wait? Like, why would you wait?
Well,
are you serious about this business? Then get one set up.
I don't know, Jerry. I'm just not committed to the thing. I see all these other people making money, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make money. So I'm just going to dilly-dally, and I'm going to dip my toe in the water just a little bit. I'm not going to be non-committal, and I'm going to see how this works out. Guys,
it won't work out. There is no toe dipping. Like, if you're
non-committal in anything you do in your life and see how it works out.
Yeah, you won't get a deal. It won't work out.
Yeah, I had one question that was so good before I get Brent. You might have put that one up here. There was a question on here that said, "Don't you guys think?" Oh, here it is. Zach Chrisman. This is a good question. I think it's either accusatory or he didn't ask it properly, and I love accusatory questions. A good friend of mine sent me a text message the other day. Rent one rental at a time. I think you guys might know one rental at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, hey, I just had somebody from Bigger Pockets take a shot at me. What do you do when people talk crap? And I said, I send them a thank you note. Thank you for reminding me I'm on the right path and I'm upsetting you. Because nobody cool that did anything cool made everybody happy. So,
Pace, nobody criticizes somebody above them. You only criticize or below them.
Or somebody is threatened, right? Yeah. And that person for Bigger Pockets is threatened by the guy from one rental at a time. So anyway, Zach, I don't think it's accusatory, but I kind of hope it is, because I want the smoke. He says, do you think that you are just delaying the inevitable with wholesaling? Eventually someone will have to add value. What's your gut reaction to that, Jerry?
Well, wholesaling is just, every single product in the world has wholesale and retail, and real estate's no different. Somebody goes direct, somebody does the marketing, somebody does the advertising, somebody creates the wholesale product, and then somebody takes it retail. That's Nike, that's Costco, that's Walmart. The idea of wholesale and retail is a way of doing business. That's how we all operate. Every single thing you're you look around, every single thing is wholesale and retail. Real estate's no different. Now, is it going to change like how we transact? Yeah, how we transact maybe will change, but wholesale and retail will never change. That's how the world turns.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's adding value to the actual property itself or to the industry. I think either way, I mean, value is you get receipts for value. It's called your income. And so if we weren't making any income, there wouldn't be any value. So obviously there's value to the people that we serve, which is the cash buyers on a customer base. And then from a supplier base, people that want to get rid of their properties, we give them a fast and easy solution to be able to do that. Either we close them ourselves or we'll find somebody else that'll close them. So I think that it's wildly valuable. I've been in this business for 20 years, and I think it's more valuable than being a real estate agent, in my opinion. I think for that niche, I do. For the niche of people that have a tremendous amount of pets and trash and beat up properties, or are in really tough situations financially that they just have to get out of, there needs to be a pawn store. There needs to be somewhere where you can go. You know, you're not getting the full amount, but you're getting speed and convenience, and you're going to work at a different price that's not retail. And so I think that's just the market. I don't think it's going to end. I don't think there's going to be less deals if they say you can't assign contracts anymore. Although I think that is very aggressive. I think that's going to be some states. I don't think that's going to be sweeping, but who knows? I think it's going to be regulated by licensing. And I think licensing is going to open up, and the brokerages are going to make a push to allow assignments, because I think it's a really smart plan for that 6 to 10% of the real estate market that's in true distress.
Yeah. The implication here is that a wholesaler is not adding value because they're not fixing up the house. And that's one way to add value, but contracting a great deal that you bring to market to buyers that want to rent those properties or fix and flip them, that is value. You're bringing value in the form of an opportunity for somebody to take advantage of.
Okay. So we understand that words have value, right? Like, people go to therapists and they uncover trauma and they fix their problems. Like, therapists provide value, right? Just with words. Like, they didn't have to get a 2x4 and smack their client across the head and go, value. No, they used their words and their experience to provide value to that client. So what I laugh about is how infrequent I see agents provide value besides their listing price. That's the value that they're providing to the marketplace. Okay, cool. I got it. That works. What would you say? You know, I laugh about this thing, and I'll bring it up for the next couple of years. David Green on Bigger Pockets. I recorded this clip. I've reposted a bunch of times. He said something. He said, I don't see why people wholesale. It seems like a gray area to me. It's almost borderline illegal. And I'm like, says somebody that has obviously never been in a wholesale appointment in your entire life. Because if you had, you'd realize that seller has already met with 3 real estate agents. They were probably already listed for 6-7 months. They fired that agent, go to another agent. That agent couldn't get the number that they needed. And then a freaking wholesaler comes along and uses their words to talk the seller to the appropriate price to then package that deal and provide value not only to that seller, but also provide value to the buyer. And well, why doesn't the buyer just do? Oh, here's the first question. Why doesn't the agent do that? I don't know, because 99% of people on the planet are lazy, which allows the 1% of us that want to do the work to make all the money. Okay, second question. Why doesn't the buyer just go talk to the seller themselves directly? Probably because that goes back into the conversation we had about fixing and flipping. They're so busy wanting to shoot themselves in the foot dealing with their contractors and permits and delays and all that kind of stuff. They don't have a freaking second on the planet to go and find their own deals. Fix and flippers provide so much more value to this market than I can explain to you. And this is why I used to take people in my Prius and go, get your butt in my passenger seat and I will take you in the home of a homeowner and you will cry. Literally, not figuratively, you will walk out of one of these houses crying, saying, I am so grateful for my life. And oh my gosh, how did you just solve that lady's problem? And I would say, Because I did a value add with my mouth. Solving problems and understanding human nature and understanding where they should go after I buy the house. In fact, the last 2 deals, my friend, the last 2 deals that I closed just last week were both sellers who were expired listings. So when somebody like a David Green, again, much respect to David, we are friends. I do adore him. I think he's one of the best of the best. I'm just letting you know that sometimes you'll pick up incorrect information from people that are not in the wholesale business. I started in real estate in the wholesale business, only going into living rooms of these homeowners. And I'm telling you, Brent is doing TV ads and he's doing inbound leads in Phoenix, Arizona. This guy could go on 4 appointments a day, and he's one of 50 people in Maricopa County that are also doing the same thing. I bet you there are over 300 or 400 seller appointments a day just in Phoenix, Arizona, with sellers who are like, the agent couldn't help me. I need help. Can you come and buy my house? 300 or 400 a day.
Yeah, it's unlimited. It's unlimited. I mean, if you look at, we have 2 million properties in Phoenix, 6 to 10% are in distress at all times. That's 120 to 200,000. Think about it. Think about it. We have 143 million residential properties in the United States. Like, yeah, agents, we get it. You want to go list a property where there can be showings and you can get the most for the property. But guess what? Not everybody wants to show their property. Do you know how many times my guys go in the appointment, and I did when I was going to sit down in the living room, in the kitchen, wherever, and they say, listen, I am so embarrassed by what's going on in this house. I don't want any picture. I don't want anybody here. I just want to get rid of the property, move on with my life. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about somebody that has this unbelievable, beautiful house that they have to move in the next 30 days. They'll put it on the market until it goes down and they'll get a buyer and it'll be done. We're talking about people that are genuinely embarrassed about having people come to their house, or they're scared that their animals will attack people. This is real, guys. This is real life. This isn't, gated communities with beautiful HOAs that get on everybody if they have a blue pot in their front yard. Right, Pace?
I have to check this out. This is too good. This ties into exactly what you're saying. So Pace does wholesale method work with mobile homes. Let me show you guys something. Today is screen share day. Okay. We're going to be doing some screen sharing today, and I'm going to show you something and tell you a really freaking great story about mobile homes and what Brent just brought up. Check this out. Okay. So let's go to Mesa, Arizona. All right, cool. Go to maps, open in maps. Check this out. I love these properties so much that I can memorize exactly where the deals were done. Okay. So this deal down here, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like, y'all don't know how bad this gets. Little gas station right here, this house. Okay. 214 and 220. I bought both of these houses. This house, guys, right here is the worst house I have ever physically been in my life. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's a mobile home in a mobile home neighborhood. Okay. By the way, oh my gosh, I got a story after story. I built this house right here. I'm like, okay, I don't want to tell you all the stories. I'll just tell you this one. Check this out. So this house is a mobile home. Okay. You would never believe it, but if you walked past this white Volkswagen Bug, they don't use their front door because do you see their front door? You can't even see anything besides the little junk on their front. This is their front porch. Yep. It's so full of junk, they don't even use their front door anymore. When you walk to the back of the house, you will slip and slide because the back patio is literally an inch thick of dog and cat crap. Yeah. So I take Cody Barton, my partner here, 6 years ago when we bought the house. And he walks in. The ammonia smell is so strong, it could knock a fly off a garbage truck, my friends. Mm-hmm. Okay. We go inside the house. Everything is covered in dog poop. Everything is covered in cat poop. Everything smells like pee. Cody is so uncouth. Like, he's so blatantly obvious that he's uncomfortable. So he asks the seller, she goes, oh yeah, take a seat. Let's talk. And he goes, do you have a newspaper? And she's like, sure. She gives him a newspaper. He unfolds the newspaper, sets it on the couch, and then sits down on the newspaper and freaking offends the seller. So what's wrong with my couch? And he goes, I just didn't want to sit in dog crap. Oh, guys.
That went down well.
This is 10% of the appointments you're going to go on. People that are struggling with issues. They have no next of kin. That, again, when you say, are you delaying wholesaling? Is the wholesaling delaying the inevitable? No, wholesaling is the ointment to the real estate agent scourge on this planet. Wholesaling solves the actual problem, which is real estate agents' inability to learn what real estate actually is, which is solving problems, not putting sticks in the yard and pretending like they know what the hell they're talking about. I think agents are delaying the inevitable. Real estate investors will devour them, and iBuyers and technology will remove them from the industry in the next 10 to 15 years. It's inevitable. There's going to be, just like right now, I could get a doctor to give me a prescription by a FaceTime call. I no longer need to go into a doctor's office. It will be the same thing with real estate agents. I think you got 10 years to be an agent, and 80% of them will be gone in 10 years. That's just me. Come back and timestamp this and go, damn Pace, you were right, or damn Pace, you were wrong. I'm right. 1 million of them are leaving the industry in the next 3 years. Bye-bye. Wholesalers will dominate.
3 months ago, it was we could only get pictures of a property that we had just put under contract on a Saturday, and it was by my house, so I went and took pictures for the guys. And in the den of the owner's house, the whole wall was framed with porno magazine pictures. The whole wall was covered with all sorts of lewd, very lewd and very nude all over. It was like wallpaper that he had put and framed it, like shadow boxed this crate and the whole. If you could imagine what the rest of the house was like. I'm just saying, like, people need to understand that we're not knocking on grandma's door who's got the roses in the front yard, and she loves the house, and she's baking cookies for the neighborhood, and we're trick her into giving us all her equity. It's just nonsense.
Bro, I almost didn't get into this business. I almost didn't get in. I had a buddy of mine, Ben. I said, I'm going to get into wholesaling. He said, isn't that the business where you rob old ladies of their equity? And I'm telling you, I had a 30-minute window of my life where I questioned everything about real estate investing. This was before I ever generated a lead. And I was like, I can't do that. If that's what we're doing is stealing from people. And then I go on YouTube and I type in Jerry Norton, fix my problem, bro. Convince me, get me lined up. I overcame it. But dude, I don't think I've ever bought a house from a single old lady. I don't. And if I did, I guarantee you I reached out to their next of kin, or I had a welfare check on them or something. These are not the people you're buying houses from.
You might even find a chopped off head in the chest freezer in the basement.
Yeah, Jerry's just one-upping us now.
Hold on, Jerry. Jerry.
You're talking about feces. I'm talking about pornos, and Jerry's talking about a severed head. I mean, this is real life, guys. This is not. Oh my gosh, what a crazy.
It is interesting because that house that he had in Colorado, right? Jerry buys a house in Colorado. He wholesales it, and his buyer finds a severed head in a freezer in the basement. It becomes national news. And somebody probably was like, yeah, they should have listed with a real estate agent.
Yeah.
That's probably, it's like, what? There's a dead person in a house, and the murderer, guys, we're not talking about people that are like Wall Street, brokers that went to Ivy League colleges making $7 million a year that we're reaching out to. Sometimes it's people that inherit a house that they don't want to have it. I did a deal with a probate attorney, one of my first probate attorney deals that was a referral. And I go to the house and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way this seller's going to want to sell this house. I call the seller. I go, hey, his name was Jeff. And Jeff had inherited the property from his uncle. And I go, hey, Jeff, I'm at the property. Just want to see what you want to do with it. And he goes, I just want to get rid of it. What's your number? I go, 180. He goes, all right, sounds good. Send over the agreement. I go, really? You want me to send photos? He goes, nope, I already know I don't want the property. Just really? You want to list through an agent? Nope, I don't want to wait for that. I just want to be done in a week. Okay, but David Green's going to tell me that I'm an evil human being and that wholesaling is rotten and this, that, and the other. Are you sure you want to list through an agent? He literally says to me, he goes, agents are dumb. I don't want to wait. Send me the contract. Guys, speed and convenience is only one of multiple things that solve these sellers' problems. That was one seller. He'd never seen the property, inherited the property. He didn't have dogs, cats, mental health issues. He didn't have a severed head. He just didn't want the property. And he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to sit there and like clean out the property and do an estate sale. The thing came with like a garage full of stuff. I got a Nissan ZR1, whatever those things are. I don't know. I got a horrible boat missing a prop. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. 180. I ended up wholesaling that thing for like 260, made 80 grand on a house that somebody's like, I don't even want to see the house. Perfectly intelligent guy. He just lived in Pennsylvania. It was a house in Arizona. He didn't want to deal with it. Probate's one subset. What about foreclosure? Right? Somebody lost their house. Somebody lost their job. The house is in disarray. They've been beating the house up. They got 5 kids and they don't know what to do. And they're like, man, it is endless amounts of people. And if you think about just the expired listings alone, 15,000 new expired listings pop up every day. That's 15,000 people that a licensed real estate agent failed to sell a house for. And real quick, before we go back to the Q&A, why did they fail to sell the house?
Because they lied to him. And I'll explain why. They put the property on the market at a price that they knew it wouldn't sell. That's the only reason properties don't sell is the price.
No, Brent, the seller was out of their mind, Brent. The seller's out of their mind. The agent didn't do anything wrong, Brent.
Except for their job.
There you go. So there's where words provide value, right? The agent could not use appropriate words to get that seller at an appropriate price that made sense. Then a wholesaler comes along without a license and provides value with his mouth. I don't need a single 2x4 or sheetrock or any of those things to provide value to a situation. I need the money maker, which is my mouth.
That's it. Listen, every house will sell at the right price. Every one. Real estate agents have to have the confidence to go in there and explain to property owners what it would. Wrong, Brent. A severed head might make it not sell too. Well, yeah. No, I guarantee you Jerry will sell that house. Just depends on the price.
It was a hoarder house. It was a really bad hoarder house. So no, an agent wasn't going to sell that property. Head or no head in the freezer.
500 people watching Wholesale Hotline tonight. Must have been good. You guys stuck around. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We only got about 12 more minutes. Let's hammer through some questions, and I will get off my soapbox about this value add thing, but it is an interesting conversation that people believe. And there's hundreds of thousands of wholesalers out there that don't come on this show anymore. Jerry probably made them multimillionaires and they don't need to come on Wholesale Hotline anymore. But here's a good one from Brandon Vintila. When wholesaling a deal on market, what's the best way to handle when a buyer you send your deal goes to the listing agent and tells them you're wholesaling the deal and agent wants to cancel the contract? This is definitely not a Pace thing. I do not wholesale deals on the MLS. This is definitely a Brent or a Jerry. Brent, you probably do this more than anybody else. Or are you closing and you own it?
No. I don't do any on-market deals.
Okay.
This is more Jerry.
Jerry, what do you got?
So this was a real failure to communicate with the agent and set up proper expectations about what you're doing and what's happening. Because what happened here was clearly you failed to communicate to the buyer what's going on here, right? So if a buyer's going around you, they're contacting the agent, then somehow that buyer's not wanting you in the picture. They're not seeing what you're doing there. And while that certainly can happen, that can be prevented quite easily by just explaining to your buyers what's going on, explaining to the agent what's going on. And remember, at this point in the game, you have an executed contract on the property. The real estate agent was involved in that process, but the real estate agent is not involved in what you do after you contract the property. So as long as you have a right to assign that contract, even though it's on market, you can do that. And I would just work on how you set proper expectations with the agent and with your buyers, because that is one of the challenges with the on-market model is, it's already challenging when we're trying to, manage different parties in a wholesale transaction. You got a seller over here, you got a buyer over here, you got title. How do we bring all these parties together and have a successful transaction? Now on market, you introduce an agent into that mix. So it means you have to get really good at managing who everybody is and their roles in the transaction and be very clear about that.
I think this one leads right into it, Jerry, as well. How do you answer the agent if they ask you right off the bat if you're a wholesaler?
I say only on Fridays.
Yeah. Here's your response. Do you mean, do I sometimes assign my contract? Yes. Sometimes we assign our contract. Sometimes we assign contracts to other entities we own. Sometimes we work with other partners and investors that maybe take the property to the finish line and flip it. Maybe we keep it as a rental. We have a wide array of exit strategies we employ, and assigning our contract is one of them. Now, when I say that, I never actually said the word wholesaling. Wholesaling kind of puts agents in like this deer in headlights type of thing. So when I explain to agents that we have multiple exit strategies and assigning the contract might be one of them, and here's what that means, I very rarely have an agent have a problem with that.
Does anybody get mad at flippers for their profits? Anybody?
Not really, because they
they're
earn
like
it.
Exalted. They're like, let's do a bunch of TV shows about them.
Yeah. Yeah, because people feel like they earned it. Yeah.
That's so true. Let's glorify these guys for making so much money. Where'd the deal come from? Yeah, even on our TV show, A&E, that we're like, hey, can we show where the deal came from? They're like, where'd it come from? Wholesalers. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't show that.
I mean, there's glorified luxury real estate agents, right? There's a ton of Netflix shows on that. There's a ton of fix and flip shows, right? How do they find all the deals? I made an offer to a guy. Yeah. Do you know who that guy is on the other line that they're negotiating with? It's a wholesaler.
Yeah. He's probably wearing a TTP t-shirt.
They're like, oh, look at this. We're going to call the other agent on the other line and negotiate this deal because this smoking hot deal doesn't have 15 offers on it. And they're going to give it to, somebody on a TV show. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? We are the engine of the flipping business. We are the ones finding the deals. We're the ones sitting down and really having the strong emotional intelligence to be able to solve the problems of these property owners that have this property that's gotten way out of control. It's wild. Nobody has gone through the trenches like us. We're like the first line of defense. We're the tip of the spear, baby. Everybody 100%. Else is glorified, and we're there friggin' throwing away our polos because it smells like a cigarette wiped with, in somebody's ass. You know what I mean? Like,
so accurate. Like, quite literally, my wife would make me remove my shoes when I came home from my seller appointments.
Oh, if you wear wool, never wear wool in the winter.
Just burn it.
Oh my gosh, it'll attach to that wonderful wool, and now you got to throw away that beautiful cardigan that you have. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm still hurt about it.
Cardigan, more like buy again because that thing's ruined. Buy it again. Here's another good thing right here. So Victoria Heaton, by the way, is a real estate agent that I've done multiple sub-2 deals with. She joined sub-2, realizing, hey, I'm an agent. I want to make more money. These guys are talking all the good stuff on Wholesale Hotline. Let me go out and let me drum up some new business outside of being a listing agent. So she comes to me. She's got another agent, a listing agent. Guys, no offense to Victoria. She's out there trying to learn. But there's 2 licensed real estate agents reaching out to me who is not licensed to solve a problem for them. Now, it is an intricate problem. But I want to let you know that combined between those 2 agents, you've got probably 35 years of experience, and they're coming to me without a license. So those of you guys out there are like, oh, just get a license. I want to cuss at you so bad. If you want me to get a license, then stop reaching out to me when you need my help. Okay. You licensees, you people that have licenses, if you want me to get a license, then stop asking me for help when you have a license. Okay. Everybody wants a steak, but they don't want to know it's from a cow. That is so true, Josh. Gosh dang, Josh. That's so good. So we provide so much value to the marketplace. There's no possible way we go away, number one. And number two, we're the most creative people ever in real estate. We provide solutions and we come up with avenues to solve a problem that nobody's even heard of. Like this agent, for example, this deal I just showed you. Okay, they have this problem they're dealing with where the seller has a first lien position right here. Look at that. That's a pretty good interest rate, right? 286. Purchase price is 397. The first lien position is FHA loan 2.9%. Okay, second lien is 6.69. I don't love that part. But the seller's like, give me $1,000 in cash and I'll walk away. Cool. Here's what's interesting. The agent gets more money than the seller. How many times have you guys seen this situation where the agent gets paid significantly more than the seller? So I'm not claiming this at all. Okay. I just want to I want to make people think for a second. If wholesalers are out there stealing the equity of Grandma Betty, what do you think the agents are doing in this situation where they are literally making more money than the seller they work for? You're telling me this is okay and this is appropriate and it's just right there out in the open, but a wholesaler wants, and by the way, guess who they're reaching out to? A wholesaler. Now, these agents don't criticize the business. They're part of the business. They're part of the solution. I'm just highlighting to you that there's agents out there that are willing for their seller to lose 20 grand, 30 grand. Man, I remember one day when I first started in this business, Brent, Jerry, you'll remember this in your business as well. I went on an appointment and I said, I got to buy this at a price where the seller's going to have to write a check for 50 grand to get rid of this house. And I just go, there's no way they're going to say yes to this. And they do. I give them the offer. They go, no problem. And they write a check for 50 G's to get rid of a house. Have you guys both had that situation?
Yep.
If that doesn't tell you how much pain we are solving of people, and by the way, every deal I've seen a seller write a check on a cash deal to get rid of, they also dealt with an agent before they called me. Wholesaling is a magical business. And like Brent mentioned earlier, wholesaling is everywhere. How do you think I bought milk at the store and eggs and bread? Oh, because the grocery store, they produced and added value, right? No, they went directly to the seller. They negotiated a contract and they assigned that to the buyer. The buyer pays a higher dollar amount. You guys want to know about Walmart? You guys want to hear how Walmart uses this business model to a T? Check this out. Walmart goes to, let's say, a cup manufacturer and says, hey, we want to sell your cups at Walmart. And guess what? You'll be so lucky because what we'll do is we'll sell those cups and we'll pay you 90 days after we receive the money.
Yep.
And we're going to sell it for a higher dollar amount. And we're going to sell it for a higher dollar amount called wholesaling. We're going to basically assign it to the end buyer. And that buyer, they think they paid Walmart. They didn't. They didn't pay Walmart. They put it in our account. We held it for 90 days. We made interest on the money and our profit. And then we let you have the money. It's called net 90, net 30, net 60. Google it. And you will find that every product you buy you purchased it from a wholesaler.
Just from a morality standpoint, if I saw a property on the market, I locked up that property on the market. I then closed on that property. I did nothing to that property except for I went and called some friends that like buying properties in that area, and I made $30,000. Did I close on it? Yes. Did I take risk? Yes. Or what if I just lock up a property that's off market? I call my friends. They pay me $30,000. Which one has a higher morality? It's just more risk for me. It's just more risk for what we do. I don't like, what are we talking about? Do you know how many deals that I got beat out on as an agent representing investor offers because the listing agent had their own pocket investor? They just had to put it on the market because their broker required them to list all properties on the market before accepting offers, which they had already accepted, which was lower than the offer that I was going to give them. Come on, players.
Crazy.
Let's go. Let's go find some amazing deals this week. Let's go find some amazing opportunities. Challenge yourself to find a $50,000 deal, because that means that you provided $50,000 worth of value. Go break your brain. Go get that wire. Go get that check for $50,000 that you put into your checking account that has $42 in it right now, and see how that feels. See how your brain feels off after that. See how much pride you have in what you're doing. It's bananas.
Bro, when I got my first $25,000 check, I should have changed my name. I should have changed my social security number. I should have changed my blood type, because I came a different person.
Yep.
Dang, I might need to go do that. I don't even recognize it myself from 11 years ago. Guys, oh my gosh, getting that first check, even if it's $1, $1,000, 25 grand was my first deal. Welcome to the gates of heaven. You've made it, and it's called wholesaling.
Yep. Just
all agents can kiss my ass except for you unicorn agents. All the other agents can kiss my ass. Quote it. Come back here. Send them here. Share the video. Say Pace Morby says kiss his ass, unless you're a real estate friendly real estate investor. I'm coming for your lunch. I'm coming for your expired listings, because you can't help your client and I can. Kiss my ass. Sorry. Jerry's kids are in the room right now. I'm all pumped up. Let's go get a $50,000 check.
Let's go. Guys, make sure that you are liking and subscribing. If this is hitting those synapses in your brain, you're like, these guys, I like these guys. These guys are good. Go to each one of our YouTube channels, hit the subscribe button. We come out with content 4 or 5 times a week. I mean, we absolutely love this industry. We love you guys going out there, taking risks, taking massive imperfect action, going through the process of just, progressing, not trying to be perfect, and just winning each and every day and doing more than you did the day before. So we love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Wholesale Hotline. We out.
We out. See ya.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.